Mike and Tom are registered with Stewart Partners Global Advisory LLC.
Common Sense Finance with Mike Wiginton and Tom Farrell of HL Wiginton Capital Management, an independent investment and financial planning firm in downtown Jasper. Mike is a chartered financial analyst charter holder, and Tom is a certified financial planner professional. They are here to discuss and give their thoughts on current financial and economic matters. Now, with Common Sense Finance, here are Mike and Tom.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another edition of Common Sense Finance. I'm Mike Wiginton, this is Tom Farrell, and this is going to be a transitory update for you all. That's what it is, it's a transitory update. Tom was just hell-bent on giving everybody an update on inflation and economics, and since transitory is, have I said transitory yet? Because since transitory is the word of the day, no? Yes, term of the day?
I don't think it's the word of the
So
day.
we just want to use it as many times as we can
We
before it
will.
goes out of
We
fashion.
will.
Maybe it's already out of fashion.
I think it's getting there.
Yeah, because now
there.
it's changed to what? Persistence. So anyway, and of course we're talking about inflation. Why don't you take it away?
Well, and just we did a podcast on this 5 or 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. And you know, when inflation started ticking up, and a lot of reasons, we won't go into all the reasons, but the word, was it transitory?
That was it.
That was the word that they were using. Transitory, supply chain, or this will all correct itself in very short order, which obviously that is not the case. And they have even admitted now that, hey, this is not transitory. We may have been jumping the gun a little bit using that word. It's a little bit going to be with us for a little while longer. And today is the 13th of January 2022. Monday they came out with inflation numbers, which was 7%. That's the year-over-year number, 7%, which is the highest inflation rate we've had since '82. Is that correct?
Early '80s, yep.
Yeah,
Doesn't really matter when.
Yeah, it's been 40 years or more.
Or the exact date, it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But so inflation's with us, and I think even the people in the government and the Federal Reserve are coming around to the fact that it's going to be with us for a while. One of the biggest drivers, I think, of the inflation that I think will cause it to be with us for a little bit longer is wage increases. We've gone through this cycle where we have a lot of record number of open positions, open jobs. We have a record number of people that are retiring or quitting their job. Now, some of them, I'm sure, are moving on and doing something else, but a lot of them may, be just withdrawing from the workforce altogether. So that's an issue. Wages are going up. Those tend to be stickier inflationary problems, because typically when wages go up, they don't come back down. So those are some things that we're looking at right now. We think that we're going to have some major inflationary pressures for the foreseeable future.
Well, I have been a major detractor for a long time, okay? And even when Greenspan was talking about engineering soft landings, a lot of people may not remember that, because the whole idea was that they're in some sort of control, like those old AM, FM radios, where we're going to dial it in to exact right station and it's going to become clear, And do you know how many variables there are that's interacting with one another across the entire global, and of course now versus more so than any other time in our past, for sure the 90s or the 80s or that everything's interconnected. You don't even know what all the variables are, much less in control of them. And to say that we can determine or dictate that, it's just, in my mind, I don't think they believe it. So it just has to be egotism. I don't understand where they come from saying that from the get-go. I said, you had all these factors like, liquidity, liquidity that had been put in the system since 2009 and 10. Then along comes a pandemic that shuts down the global supply chain. I know everybody's tired of hearing that. I am too. And you say, we can determine and we can forecast that with our little model. No, you can't. You don't even know what the variables are.
No. And the fact that so many people, along with the fact that so many people have changed the way they work, they've changed the way people get educated, all those changes that have come about since the pandemic, I think has led to more people working from home, more people doing things on their own, less people working in restaurants and retail and things like that, which again is a driver of wage increases because they're having a hard time filling roles, they're having to pay people more. So those things, along with everything else that you mentioned, are contributing to what may be a lot longer inflationary cycle than.
And I know this isn't exactly where you were going with it, but we've talked about it before, and it certainly is relevant here. And we've said it, and I'm going to keep saying it. Is that you go back to 81? I think it was 1981 the last time we had this sort of print on inflation. Okay, and we'll just see how long it's around. But I'm just telling you, you go back to 81. Okay, all the allocation, the 60-40, that didn't exist. Mm-mm. When you go back then, the common man that retired, the common working man that retired had a pension and he had Social Security. He wasn't in the stock and bond markets. Okay, that was a home to rich people. Yeah. So all of those playbooks that came about in 80s, 90s, 2000s about here's how your assets ought to be allocated between stocks, bonds, and stuff, that's out. In my opinion, that's out the window. Mm-hmm. That's out, and everybody's going to have to figure this out. It's a new playbook going forward. I personally believe, and you've said it before on podcast, and of course you talk about it privately, that along with inflation, really what we're going to be concerned with is volatility, figuring out really how to get a return on your money. All of this is going to be new, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right, and it's definitely something we'll keep an eye on. But do you have anything else on that?
That's it for me.
That's it. We'll see you next time.
Barely 21, hot thing, looking for big fun, hot thing, what's your fantasy, hot thing, do you wanna play with me?